Welcome back to the Who's James. Being about the Who's James, talking Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Yes, this is being recorded the day after or the morning after because I unfortunately did not have the energy in me yesterday night to do it immediately, especially after this performance. But you can even see by the front of the picture what the game conditions were like. Um, yeah, I mean, this one we're gonna be talking about Canada. The Who's match against Los Catratros. We're in this one. Canada lost 2-1 to Los Gatos in the Waterpark, or let's call it that way. As you can just see by the front of the cover, just look at Junior Hoyle trying to dribble through the field where the ball just gets stuck. And it was just that kind of night for Canada. And it's nothing that really they could do. I mean, they couldn't really formulate an attack because the field was too wet. You know, they tried to knock the ball around. The ball would literally stop in the middle of the pitch and turn over for Honduras, or they would slide all over the place, and it was a mess. It was a mess. There were a lot of just reckless challenges that probably had a lot of not intent. Like people did not mean to do that, but just because of the pitch conditions, it's unfortunate. And honestly, as somebody said, it's like playing on a high school field. I mean, that high school field that just doesn't have the proper drainage systems to drain all the water off the pitch after big storms. You know, so this was like. This was like playing on a water park. But you might as well should just went to your nearest pool whatever and just started playing there. I mean, this is what this game was like. But before I even talk more about that, I want to go to the starting lineup. In this one, it was Atiba Hutchinson, Milan Borjan, Alistair Johnson, Kamal Miller, Stephen Victoria, Stephen Eustachio, Junior Hoylett, Tejan Buchanan, Ike Ugbo. By the way, great to see him in the starting lineup. Unfortunately, this was a tough game for him to get something going because of the conditions. Alphonso Davies playing, at first he was playing a little up and playing on the winger, so he kind of playing up in attack and defense. And he had Richie Larea for Canada. So that was your starting lineup. But look at this. Look at the field conditions. I mean, even on this is from Canada's Instagram page. Just look at the field conditions. I mean, you can tell it's raining, but even then this doesn't do it justice. The field itself was so covered in lakes and puddles. As you can even see during the game that Canada, especially in the first half, kept trying to go down the left-hand side. And obviously they had no luck. As every time they would go there, I mean, just look at the free kick that Tejan tried to take. He tried to take it, and with the goal was this way. The ball went that way. I mean, and he slipped afterwards because it's how do you get good footing? How do you get good connection on a pitch that's covered in lakes? It's an impossible task. But then again, I mean, I know I'm going to be saying throughout the video, it's impossible, it's tough, but then again, that's why it's CONCACAF. It goes back to what CONCACAF is, you know, and thankfully, Canada did not play in these conditions and work of qualifying, or else this would have been hell. But nonetheless, I mean, this is what the conditions were like, and as I said, you go to somebody else's houses in CONCACAF. This is why CONCACAF is tough, and this is why, unfortunately, CONCACAF does not get the respect it deserves. You know, going to other people's houses and trying to steal points there, because their fields are just horrible. Or especially when you add poor elemental conditions to it. It's bad. It's brutal. It's not as good as the fields in Canada, the USA, or even Europe. It's a different world, and many teams are gonna find out that. I mean, it's just what it is, and as I say, it's part CONCACAF. It's what you got to do, and that's what makes coming here to San Pedro Sula so tough. I mean, yes, Canada got it done in world qualifying, but look at the conditions they had. It was clear, it was warm. It wasn't even like this. Today it was just pouring. It was covered. It was basically Lake Ontario out there, and I mean it was hell. It was just brutal. How do you manage in that? But enough with that. I mean, let's just go ahead and talk about the goals. In the 13th minute, Castillo sets up Kevin Lopez for Honduras, and Los Catachos. Kevin Lopez finishes it, and it's 1-0 for Los Catachos. And it's not a good start for Lehuz after Lehuz almost had an attack on one end, but they couldn't get anything done because the field was so wet. But Honduras, used to it, finds a way, and they get on top, and they score. And that basically takes us into halftime, as they said. And I noticed something too. Canada struggled a lot to form a proper attack down the left-hand flank due to the number of standing lakes in the middle of the field. But once they did find something on the right-hand side, I mean, things began to probably get going. They had a couple of chances down the right that they almost scored off of. So I was like, maybe try and work the right more. But then again, now they're switching sides. So yeah. Honduras looked to have better attacking chances from, I mean, the left side was the new field or the new area they're going to switch to. But maybe Canada would do that. But I don't know. Everywhere the field is brutal. It's just at this part. It just comes down to who can manage more. Who's got the, who's used to it. Who can just grind it out. Who can find a way to get wet and find a way and score. I mean, that's what this came down to. So I was thinking maybe they switch to flank, but then again, everything to Canada runs through Davies' side. So Davies most likely instigates the attack, and Davies plays on the left hand side. Hence, that's why they were probably playing on the left-hand side, because they want to get Davies in there. But Davies' side, unfortunately, was covered in lakes. And you can't do anything. It's hard to kick a ball when you're at the same time trying to swim through a field. So, I don't know. But we go to the 77th minute, and by the way, if you want the answer to did switching sides help Canada, not really. Because in the 77th minute, Honduras comes down the right-hand side. The right-hand flank, as I said before in halftime, Canada should have done more of in the first half. It crossed it to Arriaga, and then he buries it while getting splashed everywhere. The ball skips around everywhere, and there's nothing the keeper, Milan Borjan, can do about this. The ball is just it's covered in water, and it's too fast to stop. And it's 2-0 for Los Catrachos. I mean, what else could he done? What else? I mean, Canadian defense tried to organize, but there's just slip and slide everywhere. I mean, man, forget stop, drop, and roll. This is stop, slip, and slide. In the 86th minute, there's a wayward pass from Honduras that lands right to Kyle Larin at the center of the pitch, and he finds David streaking. And this was a great ball, despite the field conditions. David puts it in. Jonathan David! And it's 2-1, but Honduras still leads. And unfortunately, that was the last goal for the match, and Canada would fall. But before the game even ended, in the 4th minute of stoppage time, Alistair Johnson gets a second yellow card in the match, which he didn't. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to do the slide tackle, or he didn't intend to do this. But he got a yellow. He got a second yellow, and that's a red. And we saw one in the first half too, where Stephen Victoria got an early yellow. His first foul was a yellow card. And he was trying to plead the ref, yo, that was my first foul, and the field sucks. I didn't mean to slide that far and slide that deep, so, but the ref was like, he was hearing none of it, and same with Alistair Johnston's red card. He was hearing none of it and sent him off. Even the announcer said, I mean, I'm pretty sure the tackles are going to come with no intent. It's just the way the field is, and you just got to be careful if you can, and if you do it, then it is what it is. I mean, that's what this all came down to. As they said, what else could he have done there? The field is too wet. I mean, even if he tried to pull up, he still would have probably slid into the attacker. So I don't know about what he could have done better, but he is suspended, unfortunately, for the next Nations League match in March. But at the end of the match, it's an extremely unlucky game for Canada, as they basically played at the Waterpark, or at a pool, at your local swimming pool, that was just covered with turf on the bottom. So, yeah, this was hard to watch. I mean, I got really annoyed, but at the game went on, I just became accepted and said, what else could you do? I mean, the pitch sucks. How do you even manage? How do you play on this? This is like something I played on when I remember traveling to certain fields, whether it be for not professional soccer, but like advanced soccer, like travel soccer or high school soccer, both leagues. And there will always be that field just covered in mud or covered in wet. And it was so bad to play on. I mean, you have to change your cleats every half and scrape the mud off, or get a rusty nail or whatever you could find and scrape the nail off. Except you couldn't do that with this one because the field was too wet. It was more like grabbing your grip. So that's what this game was all about. But let's go to the stats. 6 shots to 9. Canada had more shots, despite the poor field conditions. 3 of the shots for Honduras were on target, while 2 of the 9 were on target for Canada. Honduras did have more shots to target. 38% possession to 62% possession. Canada was dominating possession. 241 passes completed, 388 passes completed. 68% possession and 82% pass accuracy. But say I said possession. I'm gonna say accuracy for Honduras. 17 fouls to 18 fouls. I mean, everybody was fouling because the field was too wet. 2 yellow cards to 6 for Canada. No yellow card for Honduras. 1, as I just said, that was Alistair Johnson's yellow, which second yellow, which got him a red. No offsides and 2 corners or 4 corners. And let's look at the table real quick. I know this is still irrelevant as Canada should not panic. But Honduras and Curacao both played more games, while Canada's only played 2. Honduras leads with 6 points. Canada is in second with 3. And Curacao is tied for second in 3. So, yeah, but Canada is still in second by far because Canada's played less games. But let's just go back to the field conditions. So I'm just going to put this image back here from Canada's Instagram. This is the field they played on the night. And as I said, what else could you do? I mean, the field was terrible. Canada could not string together any passes without the ball stopping dead in the middle of the pitch. You couldn't come down and make some quality crosses because the ball would just go awry, or the person making the cross would slip on their butt. I mean, this was nothing you could do about it game to Canada. I mean, it was just unlucky. I mean, they tried their best, and that's all that matters. Plus, I believe whenever they play Honduras in Toronto or wherever they play in March in Canada, I mean, they can give them a little taste of their own medicine. Except you can play them in the cold this time. If they are playing Honduras in the March window. I think, yes, they're traveling to Curacao. They'll probably play Honduras in Toronto, or I don't know, they might take on the Azteca. They might take on the Azteca in Edmonton and doing what they did to Mexico and, say, all right, since you guys want to take us to some poor pitch in the rain, we're going to take you guys to the freezing cold. And heck, if it even snows, that would be a bonus. So I could see Canada doing that. I could see Canada in March 2023 taking them to some cold place, maybe Ottawa or Montreal. And by the way, if it's in Montreal, like with the roof open, play with the roof open and have them like freeze. I don't know if they'll be as lenient as they do in Vancouver, but I could see them obviously playing here in Toronto. Trying to get revenge also for what happened in the last home game in World Cup qualifiers, even though they tied. But I can also see them playing in, Hamilton, anywhere else, anywhere that's cold to try and just get back at the Hondurans. Los Catazos trying to give them taste their own medicine, saying, all right, as I said, you take us in the rain, we'll take you to the cold. So I'm pretty sure Canada's going to do that. But other than that, tonight, I mean, it was. What could you do? What could you do? I mean, the field was horrible. As I said, I remember playing in these field conditions when I was younger, playing in high school and travel. And there are times with the ball you think you make a good pass, you put a lot of mustard on it, and the ball would still stop dead in the middle of a lake on the field. So, yeah, this game was basically played on Lake Ontario, and it was hard to watch. I mean, I had a lot of my friends saying, I'm not watching this because I already know what's going to happen. It's in Honduras, and it's on a poor pitch covered in freaking lakes everywhere. Like, what else can you do? And, yeah, I mean, other than that, it's CONCACAF. And as I said, it's just part of CONCACAF, and that's the tough part about going to other people's houses. They're used to dealing with the elements while you're probably not to. And that's why the cold in the winter, in the fall and spring, works to Canada's advantage. Because everyone else from Central America is not used to the cold, or they're used to balmy hot weather. And when you go to the cold, when you go to the freezer, all of a sudden you're trying to play your butt off and trying to warm up and get layered up. And it's not as hard to do that, especially when your touch is off. So we saw what Jamaica did in March 27th when they qualified for the World Cup. Canada beat them 4-0, and it was freezing cold in here in Toronto. So, yeah, that's all this game was. It was just slippery. I mean, couldn't string together passes, couldn't really generate good attacking chances that really troubled the keeper, and I mean, it was just unlucky, and that's all I can really say. I mean, I don't really know if I can critique anything because the field is wet, so I'm not trying to make that as an excuse, but that's what it was, and this is not the normal Canadian team we would see, given we watch, and hopefully the field conditions in Qatar are going to be much better than this. Hopefully Hopefully it's not going to be flooded and playing on Lake Ontario or any of the Great Lakes like this was. But it is what it is, and that's pretty much all I got to say for the video. If you like the video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Also tell your friends to hit the bell notification know when your new video is uploaded or posted. By the way, thank you guys. I forgot to say for 150 subs and above. I really, really appreciate that, as that means a lot. As I said, we just passed the 1 year anniversary mark for the channel, and look at where we're already at. And later on today, I will have a reaction of the U.S. versus El Salvador game. That one's also in El Salvador. Maybe the field condition will be wet there too because it rained recently in Honduras. I don't know if it is, but very well could be. And the USA might very well have to do with the same conditions as Canada plays. So we'll see how that game goes tonight. But tell all your friends. We're playing on Lake Ontario, and go to your local water park to play soccer next time.